here we're sitting after Fragranze all together and share our memories about the show. So we're talking with Miguel right now, with Miguel Matos, and I'm sure he has a lot to say about the show, about his favorites and his brand. I mean, not his brand, but his collaboration with the brand. He created several perfumes, very beautiful ones, for Bruno Acampora. But let's start with like general impressions, maybe.
My general impression, I think this was one of the most pleasant shows that I've been to, because less people, less brands, good surprises with new brands and young brands. So it didn't felt as crowded or stressful as sometimes it can be. So I could see all the brands and not be running. It felt this way. So I feel very good about this exhibition. I also had very nice surprises, and one of them I was very excited to see what they were doing. It's Yohji Yamamoto coming back again. And I remember the first scent. There was a small collection by Yohji Yamamoto in the 90s, and especially I remember one specific scent, the masculine one. It didn't come back. None of the first perfumes came back, unfortunately. But it's an interesting brand still, and the brand is divided into 3 collections. There are 2 perfumes that, all the names I can't remember right now, but there are 2 perfumes that are more of mainstream distribution, and they are quite common, I would say. Nothing very interesting, but well done, with great design. The design is something to really admire, and like I want to have all the bottles, even though the fragrances that I wouldn't wear, I want to have them all, because they are so much into Yohji Yamamoto's DNA. I know that he gave a lot of directions for the collection. He didn't take a very active part, but the first start of the coming back of this fragrance brand, he gave a lot of directions, and you can really see the touches of Yohji Yamamoto in there. The black, of course, but also very minimal lines, very clean. So there's these 2 fragrances that are more of a mainstream line, and another 2 fragrances that are in between niche and more commercial. So it could be a point of entry for niche. The more commercial bottles are like square, transparent, and there are the in-between line is black and transparent with a red tube that is very interesting graphically. But the really exciting thing was the 5 perfumes that are more, they consider the niche collection, and these fragrances have more or less the same shape as the first collection in the 90s, with the letters Yohji following the tall bottles. They are not very crazy or heavy, but they are very interesting. Some of them are quite minimalistic, with interesting synthetic ingredients. Makes us think sometimes of Comme des Garçons or something like that. But I really want to highlight the design. So it's like a tall bottle. I think I can even show. Yeah, I have some images here. This is the bottle. This is like put in some display. Let me see if there is an image that is more understandable. So this is.
So the cylinder.
It's a cylinder, a glass cylinder. It has the letters Yohji, but inside the glass there are inscriptions written by Yohji Yamamoto in different colors, one for each scent, and it's really an interesting object to see and to hold. And there were 2 fragrances that I particularly like: Paradox and Avant-Garde. All of them are very interesting. Maybe Paradox and Avant-Garde are the quirkiest ones, but those are the ones that I like. A little bit more challenging, with somewhat chemical feel to it, but still very wearable. Nothing is too challenging. But it's just nice to see one of the pioneers of niche, because really Yohji Yamamoto is kind of an icon for niche fashion, but also one of the first brands to introduce this very modern minimalist style and sometimes unusual accords into perfume linked to fashion. So I was very happy and excited to see Yohji Yamamoto coming back. I also am one of the fans of Sonar by 2787, the Barcelona brand. So we've spoken about it. I am also a fan of Sonar. It's interesting that we are all very different in the team and we have different tastes, but we all agree that Sonar.
What did you smell in Sonar?
For me, what I liked was the electronic smoke, like overheating electronic devices. That somehow sweet smell of a computer that's overheated or something, with the abstract florals and something that you can't really pinpoint a specific material there.
Did you smell beer there?
I didn't smell beer. They say it's beer, but I imagine that all the individual materials can be recognizable, but when they are all together, it creates something else. And I like the freshness that it creates. It's kind of abstract, futuristic freshness, and it's interesting that it's sufficiently artistic and wearable at the same time. That's not a very easy thing to accomplish sometimes. I have to talk about Olivier d'Urbano take on Spikenard, which is not the first time that we see Spikenard. SP Parfum also launched Nardus some couple of years ago, I think, and this fragrance is not very far from that, but it's quite unique because if there are only 2 or 3 fragrances in the market that smell like that, they are quite unique. And this is clean Nardus, not too dirty, because a Nardus can be very earthy. I liked it very much, and you still can smell a touch of incense that is part of d'Urbano's signature. I'm sure there are many other brands. I liked Regalian to smell for the first time. I think it's not the first time, they were Milan, if I'm not wrong. But for me, it was the first time I smelled Regalian from Istanbul. I like the new collection. I think it's a good step forward for the brand. What else did I like? I like the fact that you could have some distributors with, as Elena says, big sharks. Like Byredo, L'Artisan Parfumeur. You could also have brands like Comptoir Sud Pacifique. So not only the small brands, but also the ones that are more institutionalized and that we see everywhere. But it's nice to have that balance of new brands, established brands, but all in a kind of harmonious way. I don't know how they did it this time, because it seemed very flowy.
Yeah.
Flowy, just not complicated. The Elena retrospective was also very interesting. I think it's questionable the purpose of an exhibition on a master that worked mostly for mainstream brands. But it's interesting, it's another point, another kind of interest, so you have a little bit for everyone. That's it, I think. And it's always, of course, interesting to see the line, the chronological line of his creations, of his most important creations. It was interesting to go back and review all the...
Yeah, to smell and even talk to him.
Yeah, even talk, yeah. So, yeah, we had him talking, of course.
It's getting darker, Miguel.
Yes.
You mentioned before we're done about your own creation for Bruna Campora.
Well, I'm suspicious
How did you
to talk.
get there? So...
Well, I've been covering the shows for Fragrantica. I remember the first show in Milan in the Biennale, I think, Triennale, that building where it's not anymore. The show. I remember just feeling an empathy with the brand immediately. Also because there is this classic line that they launched in the 70s. There is kind of a vintage take on perfumery, not very contemporary, but that's the thing that my references belong to. And we developed a friendship along the years. I've been writing about this and that fragrance, not always, but every time I was excited about something. And we developed a friendship. Last time that we met in Milan, I was so surprised because I was making perfume and some people knew, some people didn't. But I didn't approach them to make perfumes for them because I think that it's a family business. I don't have anything to do here. But they invited me, and I was very shocked and happy. And the thing is, it was very easy, very positive, the collaboration. That's why we did it in such a short period of time, because we were all speaking the same language. And we created two collections. One of them is bigger, the Acampora 54, more intense, clubbing fragrances, extravagant and opulent, in the black bottles. They all come in pure essence, extract and eau de parfum. And also the Tadema collection, which is for now a little bit smaller, fresher, just laid back, easy to wear scents that refer more to plants and fruits of the Mediterranean coast, and the blue bottles, and they are a reference to Tadema, the famous painter who depicted many scenes in Pompeii, near Naples, where the brand comes from. I have to say, if I have a signature or something like that, it's there also. And I was happy to show a different side of my work, because people thought that I could only do animalics or like very over-the-top fragrances.
Oh, the fragrances are very different.
And these are not like that. This is my softer side. Well, in Acampora 54 there are some crazy ones as well. But I managed to show...
they were not similar.
No,
they
no.
Were very different.
Yes, yeah.
I like the Relight My Fire.
Yeah.
It was great.
Relight My Fire, yeah. That's the one I chose to be at the face of. That's my favorite, I think. So I'm extremely happy, and it gave me a positive energy this time.
That's great. Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you.